Welcome to DK Engineering. I'd like to take this opportunity to show you around our showrooms today to see what we have in stock at the moment and so you can have a bit of a feel for our premises. So this is our reception area where we welcome everyone to DK. We have some trophies on display, but let's wander straight through to the first showroom. First up in the showroom, this fantastic F50. It's one of 19 pre-production cars, very low mileage from new, 1,900 kilometers, originally supplied to the Sultan of Brunei and was destined to be one of his conversions by Pininfarina to right-hand drive, although in 1998 a stop was put to that, and since then it's spent some time in the USA and more recently with two separate owners here in the UK. A fantastic low mileage example with lots of pre-production early features of a prototype. We have another video on YouTube which goes through something like 30 plus differences on the car. Amazing weave all over, really amazing, cool example of an F50. At DK we are F-car specialists, as you know. We've sold more F40s than anyone else in the world, multiple F50s, 288s, Enzos, LaFerraris, and we've really spearheaded the F-car movement, as we call it, in terms of having that collection of the big five. Next up, something else that we've come to specialise in more recently, Singers. We've sold an awful lot of Singers, including a number of DLSs. We'll see one that we have for sale in a second. But first up, this is a Singer Classic. So this is a right-hand drive, 4-litre, 6-speed car. It's actually a C16 964 base, which is fantastic. It's finished in the same colour that the base car was originally finished in when it was new, and looks spectacular. It's a car we've sold twice before. We've actually just agreed a sale on this, and it is going to the new owner just in time for Christmas. Next up, a Gioio Enzo, one of less than 10 cars built in silver or grey, believed to be one of 5 in this exact colour of Gioio. This is a car that we actually owned for a number of years, a few years back, and covered 11,000 kilometres in it ourselves, taking it to many events, including Le Mans and all sorts of nice rallies and things like that. And again, this car's recently come back to us to be offered for sale very shortly. It's an Enzo, for me, is one of the nicest GT cars of that period. It's so easy on a long journey, perhaps let down a little bit by the gearbox, but a design that will never ever look old in my opinion, never ever. On our way through to the next showroom, just have a look at some of the memorabilia that we always have on offer. So always have a look at our parts page on the website. Some fantastic bits on offer. We've got this amazing aluminium made Vulcan model. We've got a 330 P4 wireframe model and a recent addition to that series, the 250 GTO here. We'll carry on to the next showroom. This 250 GT Lusso has recently received a total restoration in our own workshops over a 3-year period. Quite refreshingly, we've been asked to restore it to fast road specification. This actual car has raced at Goodwood in the TT a number of times and has been a race car of sorts for a number of years. So as part of the restoration, we've made some cute upgrades which are all fully reversible should a future owner want to. But as I said, it's quite refreshing that someone wants to do this because it's given us the opportunity to do a few tweaks here and there just to make the car a better, a faster road spec car. So the engine is to 3.3 litres with 6 carburetors. It has no bumpers all round, brake cooling ducts, bigger brakes, bigger wheels, a 250 GTO gearbox, a half roll cage, and an outside fuel filler. Next up is this 289 Cobra, which was restored by Mike McCluskey in the USA in the early 90s. It has had a wonderful long-term ownership, which was documented by a mileage log that's with it. It's an extremely pure Cobra, and it would be perfect for someone to buy to go racing at Goodwood or to use and enjoy on the road. Next up, this F40. This is one of 10 cars that we've sold this year. This one's already sold. It hasn't even hit the website. We're hoping that before Christmas we can get that number over 11. This is a car that we've actually sold twice in the past. It has just 3,000 kilometers from new and is an exceptional non-cat, non-adjust example. Then a hypercar, one of what they call the Holy Trinity, the Porsche 918 Spider. This car is a European supplied car that's had 2 owners from new. It's had some Weissach upgrades added during its life, so these little fins at the front here. It has the rear barge boards. It was also a car that was rarely supplied with a large amount of carbon fibre, which included the roof panels and the rear spoiler. It's only done 3,000 kilometres from new and is a really fantastic car in that colour combination. It suits the white very well, sets the acid green calipers off and the acid green interior against that colour. Really, really cool car. Next up, we have this Sega, which is a continuation car built with the authorization and overseen by the Gachang brothers from Switzerland, who owned a 250 TR in period and upgraded it to this specification. That car has since been returned to its 250 Testarossa specification, but this continuation version has been built with their authority here in the UK. It's been raced and evented at events like Goodwood over the years, and it's an extremely capable and eligible car for a fraction of the price of a 250 TR. Here we have a 275 GTB Competizione Centi. This is one of only 10 cars built in period, of which just 4 were right-hand drive like this, and only 3 had a period race history, which is this car is one of those 3. Been totally restored in recent years, the mechanicals by Bob Houghton, the metalwork done here in the UK to exactly the specification it would have left the factory, and as many of these cars over the years have been upgraded for racing, this car has been reverted back to its exact specification it would have been when it left the factory. So super, super car. Next up, another Singer. This is a new arrival which will be marketed very soon. This is again a right-hand drive, 4 litre, 6-speed in a very, very fetching colour combination, very tasteful. This dark flat blue, black calipers, tan interior. It's got 2 sets of seats with it. One set's bucket, one set's the reclinables. And then in the corner here, the DLS. This is one of only 75 cars built. And quite refreshingly, again, this car has been really well used by the first owner. It's done 6,000 kilometres from new. And when this is sold, this will be our 4th DLS out of the 75 that we have sold so far. Now let's move on to the next showroom.